Warning! Wala na songa mbele kwa smoke. Kwa mwendo kop sakot. Mbele timu. Warning! Salam sarais. Esma tuk. Kofi aksane tu. Warning! Wadi na katoa shang maratot. Kwa rais wa Uganda, wananchi wa Uganda na vijana wa Uganda. Pipa rais wa Uganda. Pipa wananchi wa Uganda. Pipa wapenda wa Uganda. Warning! Kofi aksane wako. Warning! Panisho! Go panic! Where? Legaz. Mureke tutere engalo z'amaani twebaze aba paredi. Tutere engalo z'amaani. Aba paredi mwebale munonga. Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, ogoli kugambira mu misho gawe ni Tadeo Taremwa, Chairman w'Eminyeto ahabwa Kabale. Kandi Your Excellency, Eminyeto ya Kabale harongo kutwetegwire kukwakira, and with your permission, sir, Your Excellency, allow me to let you know that we have two groups to entertain you, and Your Excellency, with your permission, I would like to invite Bishop Asiri to give you some entertainment. Thank you.
must take action. Now you take a lead. Involve more in awareness creation campaigns. The target is bettering education, poverty alleviation, gender equality, security, environmental sustainability, innovation and technology. All here to 2030 agenda. Thanks to our President, His Excellency Kaguta Museveni, for the good leadership. As Lithuanians, we have great hope in you. May the Almighty God grant you good health. Enjoy this song.
And take the right position for full implementation of the 10th agenda with the youth and the aim to drive our nation to middle income status. The youth at least involving more in awareness in creation campaigns to better education for poverty alleviation, gender equality and security, environmental sustainability, innovations and technology, all gears to drive that agenda. The time is now, time for recovery is now. After the COVID-19 pandemic, Ugandans take action, the youth be in motion, and take the right position for full implementation of the 10th agenda with the youth and the aim to drive our nation to middle income status. To commercial agriculture, we should drive to enhance production and productivity. To better agriculture products we shift. Industrialization is our savior to expand and broaden services. Eco transformation and drive to maturity. To boost and widen our market and better infrastructures. Time for recovery is now. After the COVID-19 pandemic, Ugandans take action, the youth be in motion, and take the right position for full implementation of the 10th agenda with the youth and the aim to drive our nation to middle income status. Memorial School, we appreciate the government for giving the youth a chance by recognizing the youth as a key stakeholders in the recovery process. We fully support the government process and we shall advocate for their implementation. The time is now, time for recovery is now. After the COVID-19 pandemic, Ugandans take action, the youth be in motion, and take the right position for full implementation of the 10th agenda with the youth and the aim to drive our nation to middle income status.
Mwebale munonga ba Bishop Asiri mwebare kandi abantu muterera abijukuru ba His Excellency mu ngaro. His Excellency aba barya abijukuru bawe ba Bishop Asiri kandi ndagira ngo areba mama umurimo gwari gukora mu kitongore cyo bwegese kuno gw'amani ngwenu wayikayo nawe omukisimire Your Excellency. Your Excellency no rusarwa Burundi reka nyakire abakigeze high school nabo bakwereke ngo abijukuru bawe tucina amani.
Everybody, congratulations! Congratulations, ladies and gentlemen! Upon celebration of the youth of Uganda, you are warmly welcome to the sweetest land of Africa. Feel at home, relax, and enjoy the weather. As we think about our recovery from COVID-19, we lost our dear ones, lockdown strangers, work became stunted, but we survived. Vaccination against the virus, preventive measures taken, treatment, care, SOPs observed, are surety to all youth, the old and the young, for prolonged health, health for wealth, wealth for all, agenda achieved by 2030.
As we think about our recovery from COVID-19, let the challenge rise in our hearts. Yes, we are recovering from the effects of the pandemic, but what's the way forward for our future? Let our hearts plan as our minds think and our hands work to achieve the Vision 2040. Food production, how can we increase it? Yes, resources we have, but how can we harness utilization? Let families work together, helping one another. Let there be no time to waste at all. Let us produce, let us process, let us add value and boost our trade. Hey everyone, it's high time we rally behind our president, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. We, the youth, are getting ready. So, when in relay receive the baton, we shall have politically matured for a peaceful transition, sustainable leadership, safeguarded leadership, and streamlined leadership. For God and my country, I serve.
Remarkable progress we have to maintain. Commercial farming, industrialization, service delivery, for progress. We have to maintain commercial farming, industrialization, service delivery, for market access, above all, digital transformation. Now you love Uganda, we have a lot to play. So move ahead and go, the blessing of Allah. So no more time to wait. We use our brains and heart. Be what we should be by 2030. We will do it through the youth council, the youth network, the youth government, and Congress forum. We will do it through Uganda National Students Association. Let's take to land successfully. The youth of Uganda, we have a lot to play. So move ahead and go, the blessing of Allah. So no more time to wait. We use our brains and heart. Be what we should be by 2030. Hey, 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 she getting high. Oh, 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 she getting high. Hey, 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 ah, now. Oh, 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 ah, now.
mwebale aba Kigezi High School, mwebale munonga kandi Your Excellency Kigezi High School n'isomero ry'amaani na Honorable David Bahati niyo yayejeire. Your Excellency, erizoba twakweshongorera turakuraganisa nko ryagaruka turyakuzinira. Your Excellency, as we proceed according to program and with your permission, I request to invite on behalf of the youth of Uganda, the chairperson of the National Youth Council of Uganda, to speak to Your Excellency. Your Excellency, as the chairperson of the youth arrives, I would like to inform you that as youth of Kabale and Kigezi, we thank you so much for what you've done for the youth. But this time around, we also request you to provide us with an ICT hub so that we can improve the ICT literacy among the youth. And therefore, in addition to that, Your Excellency, we have developed a concept which I will be giving to you later about digital literacy in Kigezi, where we are targeting the youth in the informal sector. They are uneducated, and we shall be moving. This is to prevent our youth from digital fraudsters, abusers, and Ponzi schemes. Your Excellency, with your permission, if you will grant, I will bring this concept to your office at a later date, and I hope you will communicate about this. Thank you, Your Excellency. In representing the youth of Uganda, the chairman of the National Youth Council, the formidable, unspeakable in Jacob Eyel.
Your Excellency, I'd like to invite the members of the National Executive here present to join us. For those that are there, please join us. Your Excellency, we got an emergency with one of the members from Karamoja. They had never experienced Kabale. So when they arrived one night, I think the fresh air was different. So they struggled a bit and they had an emergency. So a section of our membership went to help him. Your Excellency, the President, the Vice President, the Vice Chairperson of the NRM, the Cabinet Ministers present, the Ministers of State, the Members of Parliament here present, the representatives of the different development partners, And by that, I know that there are various resident representatives of different UN agencies here, the members of the National Youth Council here present, ladies and gentlemen, bana Kabale mwena mwebale kutwakira. Your Excellency, the theme for this day is taken from a national perspective. The international theme for the International Youth Day 2023 is Green Skills for Youth Towards a Sustainable World. But the theme for Uganda is context specific. It is accelerating recovery from COVID-19 and full implementation of the 2030 agenda, the role of the youth. Your Excellency, to speak about the role of the youth, I need to just identify for you the people we have gathered here. I have the pleasure to notify you of the presence of the Uganda National Students Association National Executive, led by the President. Where are you? Please wave to His Excellency. Your Excellency, this is a special celebration. The National Youth Council, along with partners, created a multi-party youth forum to agree between youth leaders in political parties on things that cannot separate the agenda of development in Uganda. And today, for the first time ever, we have the leaders of opposition political party youth wings here. We have the chairperson of the youth wing of the JEMA party. Please wave to the President. He's seated very far on the other side. We have the chairperson of the Youth League of the Democratic Party, Mr. Ishmael Kiria. Please wave to the President. We have the chairperson of the Youth League of the People's Progressive Party. Please wave to the President. Your Excellency, we have representation of Comrade Gaddafi Nasuru, who couldn't be with us. He sent Mr. Kasumba to represent him as the chairperson of the NRM Youth League. Mr. Kasumba, please wave to the President. He's not very gifted in height, so you might not see him easily. Your Excellency, we have the representative of the chairperson of the UPC Party Youth League here. Faizo, please wave to the President. I don't know where he's seated. Okay, I see UPC has 2 people. And FDC, are they here? All right. Your Excellency, we are still convincing NUP to be joining these events because it's important for us to agree on certain things of national development. The young people that have just sung here from the primary school have finished my speech. They said the youth are the engine. The children sang while the youth sat and the youth leaders sat and told us that the youth are the engine. Your Excellency, in every country's development, we believe that the most productive labor force is the energetic, but not just energetic, ideologically consistent labor force. And in that regard, Your Excellency, we need to appreciate you for some of the things that have been started. Number one, you met the leadership of the district youth councils yesterday at State House. And I want to thank you for the historic meeting that has never happened of hosting all district youth chairpersons and imparting in them an ideological message. But Your Excellency, those are very few of what we need to impart into. There are 2 solutions. Number one, I suggest, Your Excellency, that you continue into a national program to meet youth leaders at regional level with the message that you gave us yesterday for the youth to appreciate their responsibility in wealth creation. Youth counselors, there are student leaders, there are other district leaders who are not chairpersons, and they all want to listen and interact with the President. So a national program on regional basis, we can always manufacture an arrangement and proceed with it for those to all attend. Your Excellency, the youth population also requires to always be a serving population patriotically. With the Multi-Party Youth Forum, we agreed that the idea of a national youth service scheme must not be abandoned. I thank you for the Chankwanzi retreats. We see so many of them, and now we see so many government agencies taking staff there. But that's from the fact that the staff were never there. They have never gone through ideological nurturing and ideological training. We believe that for someone to get educated in our education system, they must also be educated in patriotic reasoning before they can join public service. And in line with that belief, we believe that it is important for us to have the National Youth Service Scheme as a prerequisite to public service. People that enter public office to serve Ugandans should have been trained in patriotic discipline and ideology. Sometimes the army that guides the training at Chankwanzi does a very good job in instilling in the memory of these young people what it means to serve your country, and that should not be a preserve of people that are already in service. It should be a nurturing ground for anyone who should be recruited in public service. Your Excellency, I want to bring to you a couple of issues from the youth population. I want to start by notifying you of the work we have been doing. With the help of UNFPA, we have been engaging on the issue of teenage pregnancy. The engagement has been so serious that we have so far moved across 7 of the regions, the sub-regions of the country in the first half of the year, and we intend to do at least 14. These engagements are to talk to youth about the dangers of having early pregnancies. But more than that, the mistake of losing out on education, the dropout rate of the girl child is driven by the teenage pregnancy. And we think that as a youth leadership, we must have the engine voice that they have been singing about here to make sure that has been addressed. And I want to thank UNFPA for that support. Your Excellency, I must report to you about UNDP. UNDP has supported the National Youth Council and is continuing to support us with achieving and participating in NDP 3 and the upcoming NDP 4. Madam Elsie Atafwa, the resident representative, is here. UNDP is funding a program to help us with engagement of PDM. Many of the youth leaders at the parish level have never been oriented. Many of them have never participated in programming because there is no educational requirement for membership in the National Youth Council. But with this support, we are able to take to them the message of commercializing agriculture on the 4-acre model. We are able to take to them the training that they require for the many things to participate well on PDM committees. So I want to thank UNDP for the many things we are doing with them and for the support they are going to offer us. Your Excellency, I cannot stop without thanking the Minister for ICT, Honorable Wariomonsi. He announced last week that government has cut the cost of internet from $70 to $35 per megabit per second. I want to thank Your Excellency because this is a strategic decision of government for the future of e-commerce in Uganda. Many of the companies that now own the largest share of resources in the globe, the biggest, the $1 trillion companies, are companies that are working on tech services. And Your Excellency, you've been preaching about the BPO business. You've been preaching about ICT as a driving force and area for job creation. We believe that this strategic decision is going to help us a great deal in ensuring that the young people who are the internet generation can do business in the amorphous market of the online market. Your Excellency, I will now bring to you a couple of issues still disturbing us. Firstly, we watched for a long time the complaints of medical interns. They came to our offices so many times, disturbed the peace of so many officers, and eventually with your guidance, they were able to get deployed. But Your Excellency, it is a recurring problem that we do not want to always deal with. I want to encourage government, Your Excellency, to find a lasting solution to that problem, because they keep disturbing us to talk about the same thing every year of medical intern deployment. If we can have a program that deploys them early at an affordable fee for government, because it's internship that they require as a prerequisite for them to have a practicing certificate, that would be solved. The other issue is the issue of the students' loan scheme. Your Excellency, government under the NRM leadership has educated such a great number of young people. The UPE program reduced the dropout rate from primary school by over 50% of its initial value. But those that continued struggled with secondary education. The NRM government brought in the universal secondary education. Those that went there were encouraged to ensure that they are serious in school because they are studying out of poverty, out of the mercy of government and the responsibility of government to provide education. When they finished, government now started a program of the students' loan scheme. This year, unfortunately, this year, unfortunately, Your Excellency, that program was not funded. The student goes a long way in helping us eradicate both the small level of access we have of job creation. Over 13,000 young people have so far been educated under the students' loan scheme, with a prioritization of the science disciplines. Your Excellency, the requirement is that after you start, you bring back after there is a grace period. When someone has studied on loan, this is a system that educated president, even Mwalimu Nyerere studied in Makerere for free, but it was because someone was loaning the education. Your Excellency, this creates the mindset that the young person cannot go and not find creative ways to make money and pay back their loan. So we believe that the facilitation of the students' loan scheme will go a long way to creating active minds among young people to be able to create jobs. Your Excellency, the issue of the Youth Livelihood Program, I want to thank the members of Cabinet here present for accepting to return the revolving fund to the Youth Livelihood Program that was already collected from the youth themselves. Thank you so much. That program guarantees a rural young person who only knows how to farm to go and be taught how that farming can make money and how the government can give you small capital to start that farming as a commercial venture. Your Excellency, when the revolving fund returned, we gave out over 30 billion to over 10,000 youth in the country of what was collected from the youth. We believe that the revolving fund is a better model than the grant fund. Revolving means the district collecting 100 million and paying back 100 million will receive 100 million. The district collecting 100 million and paying back 50 million will receive 50 million. That creates the responsibility of development at the local level, which then means that the Ugandans in Soroti, where I come from, in Kabale, where Chairman Tadeo and my sister Brenda here come from, will be responsible for the performance of Kabale, which then drives competition, it drives equity, and it drives local responsibility in wealth creation. And we think that's a good program. And we want to advocate government, please recapitalize it next year with some money, as Myoga has been recapitalized, as PDM is also there, and we drive that agenda. Your Excellency, two final points. One is on the work of involving young people in agriculture. We have listened to your message on wealth creation. We know there is no other way young people are going to get jobs apart from a growing private sector. You have taught us that what is for all of us is good and its development. A road is good. You have taught us that a school is good. But you have taught us also that you can have a tarmac road provided in Kabale by the president and cabinet or by whoever funded, and then they use it to dry maize, or in the case of Kabale, to advertise a few Irish potatoes. Your Excellency, it is important that the youth leaders at national level take up the responsibility of the message of wealth creation to the youth. And we are not going to fail you in taking that message to our generation. Because government, and I want to speak to the youth population, government cannot provide enough jobs for all the youth of Uganda in public sector. It must be driven by private sector, and the best private sector is the one you control as an individual. So the 4-acre model, the high value crops, the animal husbandry with mathematics, chibaro, chura, like the president will tell you in more languages, that is the way forward. And the youth must drive that message to every part of the country using our structure. Your Excellency, we will not fail you. And how to ensure we will not fail you is to reinstate the 4 billion of the National Youth Council, which was cut. Your Excellency, you assured us yesterday that that must be reinstated this financial year. Honorable Musasis is here. His doors are always open to us. We thank us in the Ministry of Finance serving the Ugandans. He will take the message further from you as you sent it to the Cabinet House on Wednesday. Your Excellency, the final issue is on the environment. We want to thank you for your ban on the charcoal business. The rhetoric on climate action cannot just be rhetoric for paper. As you can see, Your Excellency, the Minister of State for Youth was telling me Kabale has never been this brown. The grass in Kabale is always green. And she said even in Chisoro, the grass is no longer green because of the climate situation. We believe that strong emphasis must be given to working on national efforts to achieve our nationally determined agreements on climate issues. And I think we are going to be there with you, Excellency. We thank you. But the transition away from charcoal must be a just transition. And we thank you for standing your ground on the crude oil pipeline and on the oil sector in Uganda. Because unless we are able to mobilize financing for opportunities, we cannot mobilize financing to address climate action. It is true that many of the countries that are telling Uganda to not fund the crude oil pipeline are also the very ones who have the highest emission rates globally. For those that do not know, our crude oil pipeline will not emit more in the length of 30 years than countries like France emit in 1 year, in 1 month. So as Ugandans, we must have a conversation with the globe on a just transition. The poorer countries must exploit our resources to enable us to have the capacity to engage on the global scene with global goals. Your Excellency, in regard to that, we are also aware of the funding cut by the World Bank. Your Excellency, as the youth of Uganda, we want to say very clearly, we know 67 countries that have laws similar to the one which was passed by our parliament. They never received a cut. We know countries where even expressing yourself as a woman, what Ugandans do for comedy, to play as a woman, is banned in some countries. The list is very present on the internet, but the World Bank has never cut their money. So this cut by the World Bank on our money is unfair. It is unfair because in the globe, not all countries with such laws have their money cut. And I thought the Ugandans here would clap for that reality. Your Excellency, as you engage the World Bank like you guided to return to the table, we believe that the young population must now recognize their responsibility not to require future aid in this country. They must, and I'm speaking to my fellow young people, we must take up the responsibility to nurture a country where our contribution collects enough taxes that we do not need aid. There are countries that provide aid and there are countries that receive aid. We must find a way with youth energy to join the work that leads to a country that does not need aid. That way we can create the laws against the persuasions of Ugandans in their majority, and even if some of us think in a minority, that democratic guarantee will be present in Parliament. That democratic guarantee of dissent must be present in the public, as the NRM government has already brought it. But we will not be challenged when the majority position has to carry the day. I want to thank Your Excellency. I want to stop here in the interest of time, and now introduce for you, Your Excellency, the members here, because they joined me while I was already speaking. Your daughter here is, okay, they want to introduce their names.
Your Excellency, before I introduce myself, last month we lost one of our great mobilizer, Apollo Nyegamahe. He was from Luchiga, Muhanga. I request to observe a moment of silence because Apollo was a friend to many young people. He employed many people. So nandashaba twemerere dachikemwe omwoyo gwa Apollo Nyegamahe tuguhe ekitiinisa. May the soul of Apollo Nyegamahe rest in peace. Your Excellency, Kichoncho Brenda, Secretary for Female Affairs National Youth Council and also a board member of National Women Council. Your Excellency, I request 2 minutes to represent you some issues because this is my district, my constituency. I request I say 2 words as I welcome also my fellow young people. Your Excellency, to the whole youth councillors from all districts of Uganda were not recognized. They are there. And I also request you also invite them like you invited us to State House through the youth minister so that they come and visit you in State House Entebbe. Your Excellency, I would like to introduce one of the FDC members and also the MP of this constituency, Honorable Nicholas Kamala. I'm happy you're here today to welcome our president and you believe in his ideology. Nicholas Kamala, FDC Member of Parliament, wave to our president. We welcome in the NRM party. Your Excellency, when you were in Kigezi in November 2020 campaigning, we requested you 2 things and we are happy you fulfilled them. The first one was border opening. Many young people were suffering. Akatale katuna border chinjire koka excess. As we are here today, as you return back after your election the first time, I'm here to report to you the border is fully open, fully operating. Young people are working. Ndajara nyakigezi tutere president nga rozamani abokwigula katale na border ya katuna. Another thing, Your Excellency, the iron ore factory requested you to put a factory, and I talk now, everything is in the process. The factory is going to be set, and the iron ore man, Miss Honorable Kamont, is here. People have been compensated, and the factory is in progress. I think we thank the President for that. Your Excellency, the last one, enshonga ya mashanyarazi omuli Kabale. Your Excellency, mashanyarazi gabira mashanyarazi. I'm shocked that today electricity is there. Ndajaba manyoli kwishaba jakatu galekeho. Businesses ifire omuli Kabale habwa mashanyarazi. amashanyarazi gabira amashanyarazi president wo lagamba nitwe ogambira bukira kwataho enshonga z'amashanyarazi bazikoleho kwanga Kabale amashanyarazi turagale balimwo mu wiki okwezi kuwe tutala amashanyarazi na twagamba ati ne kirakogwa. So enshonga y'amashanyarazi, the issue of electricity in Kabale should be addressed with immediate effect because it's affecting many businesses in Kabale. Lastly, I want to thank our Honorable Minister Betty Amongi and your team from Ministry of Gender for allowing to host this International Youth Day in Kabale. We thank you very much. We also want to thank our chairman, NRM, Akafuzi Kitu, Honorable David Bahati, webale kukunde minyeto, webale kunda NRM, webale kushagatira NRM, omuli Kabale yite jimpa. Nenda nokwebaza Minister Wit, our daughter here, Minister for State for Youth, Honorable Sarah Mateke, thank you for hosting Youth Day in Kabale. Thank you for bringing this big function to our region. We thank you very much. Lastly, I want to thank the Permanent Secretary and your team organizing committee. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming to Kabale. President Yowel, we say we are going to support you. We still love you. Abachiga barajirangu, oyegumira hangoma. Oyegumira hangoma Yoweli, oyegumira hangoma Yoweli, niwe tuleni twenda, niwe tulendo otukulembere mpaka. We love you. Even in 2026, young people are ready to support you. Even senior leaders, we thank you. Also, our former leader, Nasa Mukwaya, is here, and our current ES and the Executive Secretary, Angelo Agnes, with national youth delegates from all the countries, stand up and wave to the President for allowing to be with us today. We thank you very much. Thank you for coming. May you rule forever Uganda and Africa at large. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Your Excellency, my name is Kidega Moses. I come from Gudu District, and I am the National Secretary for Labor to the National Youth Council. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, the President of Uganda. My name is Wilson Oto, and I'm the General Secretary of the National Youth Council. I come from Agago District.
Your Excellency, just to introduce to you the people, we have a delegation of the Afro-Arab Youth Council led by the Honorable Dr. Abdul Hadi Lahwek and your son, Honorable Agaba Abbas. Please rise up and wave to the President with your delegation. Then, Your Excellency, my sister Brenda has touched on it. We have Dr. Shaft Nasa Mukwaya here. As I briefed you on Wednesday, Dr. Shaft Nasa left the National Youth Council. The National Youth Council had become synonymous with him. Your Excellency, later today you will launch the commemorative events towards the celebration of 30 years of youth leadership in the National Youth Council, which we will do next year. And at that occasion, we will award Dr. Shaft Nasa Mukwaya a deserving award. But because he came to Kabale, I promised him that if he comes, I will give him a photo opportunity at request with the President for his 25 years. So, Excellency, I request that Dr. Shaft Nasa Mukwaya receives a photo opportunity today, then we can be able to. Your Excellency, with your permission. Thank you so much. I thought the youth would clap harder. Thank you, Your Excellency. I therefore thank you, and I wish the youth of Uganda fruitful deliberations on all the issues of consequence to the generation. I thank you.
Ndatira mwareba eminyeto kwe n'amani urwo rubazo rwa mukuru w'eminyeto habwihanga kandi Your Excellency ndagira nkuwareba ko ine mobilizer w'amani muri Kigezi Choncho Brenda. Your Excellency ndenda kumanyisa nti hanuya tuineho LC5 chairperson wa Kabale Shanga Bashiza Nelson ari watutayayisize ayemerera kuhubire ahashtami. Your Excellency hanuya tuineho na meya wa Kabale municipality OHT Nisa Central Byamugisha nawe akubireho Your Excellency. Your Excellency tuineho na LC5 chairperson wa Rwanda OHT Nisa Steven Kasaba. Your Excellency ndahendere streka ndenda kusima munonga abo kugira mu mulitwe okaronda bemanzi zo kutujerekera mu kabineti kandi turahurira turashaba ngo yongeremo ko kurebera OHT Nisa tuineho na reboka muntu munywani w'eminyeto nayo wamushundikayo birabyabonera tuineho naho na rebo Roland BC akwatanisize na Catherine Ndamira kora abatuhe nambweno ndamangori hikurabya mu rwiko twareba mu honarebo ka muntu n'abandi turaza kushemererwa. Your Excellency wotagarukire kushuba kuririra karganje ninyeta Deo Taremwa chairman w'eminyeto abwa Kabale kandi OHT Nisa ko kutaya isize nanye ndi kumara na ndashaba ngo mpe akagisha nanye mbona kashani niwe OHT Nisa.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Tadeo. Thank you very much for being part of this team. Your Excellency, we do a lot of work with the UN fraternity. And the UN fraternity is here in big numbers. And we want to thank the UN agencies for being with us. We have the UN Resident Coordinator's Office, we have UNFPA, we have UNDP, we have UN Women, we have UNCHR, we have IOM, we have UNICEF, we have World Health Organization, we have UNCDF, and we have UNODC. Your Excellency, all these agencies have been good to the young people. But permit me invite the resident coordinator, the UN resident coordinator, who is represented here by the UNFPA country representative, Dr. Mary Otieno, to come and speak to us, accompanied by the UNDP representative, Eris Atafua, and the UN Women representative, Paulina Chiwangu. Later in the day, Your Excellency, you will be launching a program which is being funded by the directors of ceremonies. We are coming to the end of our job. We are about handover. But before we hand over, Your Excellency, there are three things that will be done before you speak to the nation. The first one will be the signing of the host country agreement between Afro-Arab Youth Council and the government of Uganda. I want to put the following to be on standby, that after the minister has spoken, when we go in the signing, these are the people who will come around the table for the signing. Honorable Dr. Abdulhadi, Minister of Foreign Affairs of Libya and the President of Afro-Arab Youth Council. He will be accompanied by Honorable Dr. Agaba Abbas, Secretary General Afro-Arab. That's on one side. On the side of government, we shall have Honorable Sarah Mateke and Mr. Agure David Chibenge, the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Gender, Labor and Social Development. Your Excellency, the second launch will be the launch of the UN Joint Program for Adolescents and Youth. The following will join you in the launch. Dr. Mary Otieno, UNFP ACAN representative, UNDP representative Els Atafua, and UN Women representative Paulina Chiwangu. And on the side of Government of Uganda will be Honorable Sarah Mateke and Mr. Jacobo Eyeru, Chairman of National Youth Council. Your Excellency, the third launch is going to be the roadmap for 30 years existence celebrations of the National Youth Council. And the people who will join you in launching and signing will be Mr. Jacobo Eyeru, Chairman, National Youth Council, Dr. Shafti Nasa Mukwaya, and Honorable Mariam Narwega. May I, on that note, invite the Minister of State to take over from the following people.
Excellency, Senior Commissioner of Prisons, Frank Baine.
Your Excellency, Taremwa Tadeo, Chairperson of the youth of the great town of Kabale, yet to become a city.
And Chateka Mondo, Assistant Commissioner of Youth Affairs, Minister of Gender, Labor and Social Development. Your Excellency, we hand over to the Director of Ceremonies, Honorable Sarah Nyirabasithi Mateke. Thank you, Your Excellency.
Thank you so much for that good work. I thought you people would appreciate them. Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, Your Excellency, the Vice President, Honorable Ministers, Honorable Members of Parliament, the First Vice Chairperson of the NRM Party, Your Excellencies, Ambassadors, High Commission, Development Partners, the UN family, the Kabale leadership here, the Chairperson National Youth Council and the Executive, the youth leaders who are here, both NYC and councillors and other structures, NRM structure and others, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Your Excellency, I would like to take this opportunity to welcome you to this year's International Youth Day celebrations and to Kigezi region. I want to thank you that amidst your busy schedule, you have always had time for the youth. We want to appreciate. My role here today is very small, but of inviting my senior minister. But before I invite her, Your Excellency, I'll just speak only two things. One, I want to appreciate the warm hospitality that you extended to us on Wednesday when you're meeting the youth representatives from across the country to discuss matters of great importance of the young people and the country at large. We want to thank you wholeheartedly. And as the chairperson said, that was a small group of the youth. I pray that you have time to meet the NRM structure for the youth and the district councillors, Your Excellency. Your Excellency, I want to thank you that you have supported the youth when you saw the exhibitions there. Your Excellency, the youth are not seated. You have always guided us on the 4 sectors, on industrialization. You have seen how your youth are very innovative. You have guided us on commercial agriculture. Yes, we have had challenges of land with the youth, but those who have managed to benefit from our programs have managed to rent. After renting, they buy their own land, and we want to thank you. You have guided us on ICT, you have guided us on services, and we want to thank you for the wisdom that you always share with the young people. Your Excellency, we are only asking for around one thing. You're training the youth, the presidential skilling hubs, but we are requesting if every district would spare some piece of land so that we can put there the youth, especially those that have been trained. Because even paying rent from the little money that we give them is a challenge. So if we can create cottage industries in different districts, and you know that if the youth have finished training, they can go and start from that land. After they get their money, they shift and go elsewhere as we bring others on board. I think it can help us. Your Excellency, I want to take this opportunity to introduce the ministers who are here today. Your Excellency, I'll start with the Vice President of the Republic of Uganda, Major Retired Jessica Alupo, who is here with us, and she was once a minister of this docket. We want to welcome you and thank you for loving the people of Kigezi. Your Excellency, we have the first Vice Chairperson of the NRM Party, Alhaji Moses Chigongo, who is here with us. Your Excellency, we have Honorable Betty Akena, our Minister, the Minister of Gender, Labour and Social Development. Your Excellency, we have Honorable Baryomunsi Chris, Member of Parliament for Chinchizi East, and the Minister of ICT and National Guidance, and the Chairperson in charge of Western SEC. We have Honorable Jim Muhwezi, the Minister of Security, and the MP for Bujumbura. We have Honorable Musasizi Henry, the Minister of State for Finance, and Rwanda East Member of Parliament. We have Honorable Bahati David, the Minister of Industry from Mudorwa West, from this district. We have the Minister of State for ICT, Honorable Kabyanga. He's also here with us. We have the Minister of State for the Elderly, Honorable Chidudu Mafabi, your Minister and your MP, Your Excellency, for your constituency. We have Honorable Minister of State for Public Service, Honorable Mugasi Grace. Your Excellency, we have here members of Parliament, and I would request they come in front. The members of Parliament who are here, please come forward as I introduce you. We have the host Member of Parliament and the woman Member of Parliament for Kabale District, Honorable Ndabina Catherine Owabodinji. We have Honorable Kamuntu Moses, Rwanda West. We have Honorable Kamala Nicholas, Kabale Municipality. We have Honorable Prost Mbabazi, Rwanda District Woman MP. We have Honorable Roland Diomujeni, MP for Ruchiga. Your Excellency, I thank you so much. They can sit. We also have former members of Parliament who are here. We have Honorable Aja Vadiayanga, who was once independent, now is NRM. And Your Excellency, you are the one who has spearheaded issues of women empowerment. I am very sorry, but at this juncture, allow me to introduce the chairman LC1, chairperson LC1, for this area where we are, and ask her to come and introduce herself and give herself some few introductions. Being a woman in the municipality, na ninkushamango ishe hanu oya na president akumayongo niwo mutokazile wamani omuchala chairperson LC1 omu municipality ya Kabale. Kwara amare kugamba na nishabangu Honorable Bahati will speak on behalf of all of us from Kigezi and introduce the members of Kabale District local government.
Your Excellency, the President of Uganda, and our parent or father, I'm very happy to welcome you here. You have done a lot to us with the Ugandans. You are like Moses in the Bible, who led his people back home from Egypt, and they were also very stubborn like us. Your Excellency, you started the leadership when I was a woman. I know what you did for these people, and let me be brief like this. Thank you for trying to mentor the youth. And they are the leaders of tomorrow. Thank you so much. You are the parent. The civil servants of those days when you started the leadership, when you started the struggle, the public servants were suffering. They were educated, but could not have enough to maintain their families. And I was one of the people. The teachers, where are you really? You let us clap for the president. He has brought back education. Education had stopped. Your Excellency, there are so many things to talk about you, but thank you so much. My name's Ndibwami Jova, Chairperson LC1, Chigugwe Chibikura Sir, where we are now.
Thank you so much, our chairperson LC1. You'll forgive me, but I think it was necessary. I would request Honorable Bahati David. Your Excellency, bani bansha bangu oyichirize oyeteze kishani na chairperson LC1. Chairperson zakweteze kishani na president. Zakweteze kishani na president aho niho ndashabire Honorable Bahati David oyije oyanjure leadership ya Kabale kandi ogere kiwagambaho only 3 minutes. Thank you so much. Zakweteze kishani na president ekyo nicyo kiri kumanyisa wabo n'obukama nobona chance y'okuzayo na president.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, Your Excellency, the Vice President, the Vice Chairperson of NRM, Moses Chigongo, my colleagues, members of Cabinet and members of Parliament, omukikuru tumuterere mu ngaro ya afuta n'orujungu rw'amaani tiyatuswaza nkairo C1 chairman wa Bugonji aha ayi kandi former Prime Minister ali ku rugaro akana Rugunda. Your Excellency, we want to welcome you here omunsozi za Kabale kandi habwensozi nico cyatumire otireho no kwetenga kwa paredi aho kukolera nico cyatumire abantu twabasitamisa tuti nko kutushitami ndenda kubasima mwena abanyakabale aba huliro mulango gugwabana beitu okwija hanuya okwasa presidenti okora ogumukoro hano muri Kabale abesere omutenti na ndabashaba mu nkwase twakire president weitu muratera mu ngaro munonga mwebale munonga okwija okumwakira. Your Excellency, banshaba ngu nyanjure temuloko content ngene naza kutamuloko content konka tiko banjura atakizire kangumize mu ngire kinagambo abo karakihulire lero kwalije mbone kubanjura ba chairman hamwe na kanso yitu ehano eyakabala ndenda kutwara omugishogu okusima Your Excellency habwo kwikiriza ngo mukorogu
kandorabire omuli Minister wa agenda ngo mukoro gw'abana beitu gube hanu ya Kabale eminyeta imuli hona mutere President Yoweri Museveni na Ministry ya agenda omungaro. At this time of the NRM revolution, your message is loud and clear, Your Excellency, that in order to realize fully the vision of an integrated, independent, and self-sustaining economy, we should all of us focus on four-dimensional strategic areas, moving our households from subsistence to money economy, adding value to everything that we are producing, developing a strong civil service society, and developing a knowledge-based economy. Your Excellency, we have understood your strategic guidance and we are moving towards that. In terms of local content, here in the Kabale and Kigezi region, we have embraced the parish development model, a strategic innovation to move our households who are in still subsistence into money economy. Ahi turi kugambira Your Excellency, omuli Kabale billioni ziraika mushanju na miliyoni gwenda za ichihanuya eza parish development model. Kandi billioni anani ibiri na miliyoni runana nizo zahirize kuba released for the Kigezi region, 42.8 billion. Eminyeto ndabashaba ngo mukimanye ngo out of this money 30% ekiramanyisa billioni ibiri n'emitwaro miliyoni 30 nizo ate ziri mu Kabale ezite minyeto, kandi omuli Kigezi billioni zirarenga 18 omu mwaka gumwe kusha. Ngeno ndabashaba eminyeto kubamanyisa ngo esente za parish development model ziriho zanani muzanule muzikozese okugwanisa obworo. In the face of the blackmail of the neocolonial elements, it's important that we rise up to fight poverty and develop the money economy. The only way we can fight with the president is when we make our country rich, is when you make your household rich. That is when what the chairman of the youth was talking about, that is when we can actually stop this blackmail of people who want to blackmail us to believe in values that we don't have. We thank you, Your Excellency, for establishing the presidential initiative Zonal Youth Hub at Kamuganguzi in the Kigezi region. It is doing wonders. It is training young people to change their mindset and giving them the skills to improve their incomes, provide jobs and livelihoods. Your Excellency, we also want to thank you for accepting to add value to the minerals that we have in the region. You have, I can report here, that you have attracted a number of investors to process our iron ore. You yourself have attracted a number of investors to process our iron ore. Among them is the modern steel industries, which is acquiring a license to mine. Toko okora factory otinejo license yoku mininga. Ngeno hate itwaika Your Excellency n'abantu ba Kabale na Kigezi, Honorable Rusi Lankabigwa ali kugeza okuyamba kwezi companies zirenda kukora factory y'obubale omuli Rubanda okuziha license kugira ngo zitandike zilime zira processinga iron ore yitu. Under the Uganda Development Corporation, Your Excellency, tutire factories ibiri omuli Kabale kandi hamwe na Kisoro. Ezo nazo ziri kugenda omumisho. Factories abanyakabale n'ekintu kimwe kirayamba eminyeto. Abokuba President witu ali kwija mu government yagwansiriza tukaba twine factories 8 hati ya turi kugambira twine factories 18 na rukaga 80. Kandi Your Excellency, I'm glad to report that every factory that is set up in Uganda, it employs a minimum of 150 people, 300, others employ 1,000, 5,000. So the more factories we set up, the more jobs we create, and the more jobs that will be available for the young people. Amashanyarazi gatubera amashanyarazi omuri Kigezi. But I also want to update you, the people of Kabale, ngo ekizibe kibire kiriho ebireri substation ya Kigezi. Honorable, and we have already secured the resources to set up this substation, and that is ongoing. It has taken long. Konkamura chimanchara gamba arachikora kandi charakora nechagambire nicho twamweteire ruhemba ogwenjura no nago araza kuguhemba. We want to thank you, Your Excellency, for fulfilling your pledge of tamaking the Kabale Lake Bunyonyi Road. Abantu bamazwe kutunga compensation hate kisigire ni the oruzina njende gwa procurement. We hope that oruzina njende gwa rugamu orugudoru hamwe na ferries ibire bitashaya bibiri biraza kukogwa. Kandi no kwikiriza nko kuwagambire olimfasha omuli rubanda otorugudo gwa katuna muko na kamuganguzi road rubato baruteho korasi ayindi kugambira esente eziraruga mu ADB ezokutamakingo go rugudo ogwa katuna muko kana kamuganguzo kuraba oruguruka nanka bubale ogwate sente ziriho feasibility kugenda misho twina masikongo. Very soon all these roads, as you promised and you have fulfilled, will be Your Excellency, we have here a number of leaders from the district, and some have already been introduced. Kantwaro Mujishogu okwanjura akachiko ka chairman weitu wa district omamisha ngabashija na ba councillors mwena mwemerere president abalebe ayimuri hona. Chairman Shangabashija kandi chairman owo mu Rubanda hobaruna ba councillors ni wemerere bakwakire. Owaru Kigani wemerera bakwakire. Owaka Nungu yemerera ni mwe bakwakire. Kandi abakisoro ni mwe mwemerere babakire. Rukunjiri ni mwe mwemerere babakire. Kandi Your Excellency twaisha naho meya nakachiko kawe niwe bakwakire. Abakachiko kitu ka movement omwami gwashije omukyala bijigwa Alice Peace Kachira mwena Edison ni mwena mwemerere babakire. Twaisha hanuya na ba chairpersons ba LC3 hamwe na ba movement ni mwemerere babakire. Your Excellency, kandi abari hanuya ba LC1 zimwena baba bari hanuya abajeje ko mucyara witu ono wabugonjini mwemerere babakire ba LC1 na bebembe zibona omurundi gumwe kugira ngo tutashisha obwire. With those few words, Your Excellency, I am once again happy, and I want to assure you of our commitment, of our support for the NRM and for you. Kandi hobariho abachiga abari hanuya baramenya kusakuza naza kusakuza ndeta sala hanuya sakusaku sakusaku na kutera katadyeba muona mwachigwa nakaruru ka Museveni 2026 mwebare munonga.
Go! Panda! Where? Legezo.
Thank you so much. At this juncture, let me request the Honorable Minister of Gender, Labour and Social Development, Honorable Betty Akena, to come and speak to us or talk and give us the speech as Minister of Gender. We shall do the signing after the President has finished addressing us. Thank you.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, Your Excellency, the Vice President, the first National Vice Chair of the NRM, our Minister of Foreign Affairs from Libya, who is also the President of the Afro-Arab Youth, here to execute the mandate of signing the Host Country Agreement. Honorable Ministers, members of the Diplomatic Corps and the UN family, members of Parliament, religious and cultural leaders, the chairperson of the National Youth Council, your executive, and all the delegates of the National Youth Council who are here, all of you in your various capacity. I want to start by thanking our minister from here, Honorable David Bahati, who wrote to the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development requesting that Kabale hosts this day, and here we are today. Thank you very much, Honorable Bahati, and to notify the members of Parliament and other ministers that we always come where the district is ready to host. So for other members of Parliament and the ministers, we will always be ready to come when you invite us. Your Excellency, today is a day when we take stock of what we've done as a country in the crusade for the empowerment of the young people. And as a government, you have been in the forefront of the empowerment of women, of youth, of persons with disability and other vulnerable groups. That is why today we are having the National Youth Council elected from the village up to members of Parliament. It is because of you and because of the support that you have given to the vulnerable groups. We want to thank you for that. Your Excellency, today's theme is celebrated around the theme of the impact of COVID-19 and how it has disrupted the livelihood and what we need to do to recover and build the resilience of the youth in at least ensuring that we bounce back to where we were. It is true, others have already indicated, that the youth constitute a very large percentage in Uganda. During COVID-19, there was lockdown, and you are aware that a number of youth dropped out of school, their education were interrupted, and most, especially the girls who got pregnant, were not able to return back to school. So education was interrupted, economic livelihood was interrupted, socio-economic programs were interrupted, increase in gender-based violence and others affected the youth largely. However, Your Excellency, through the intervention of government, the youth and the people in urban areas were able to be supported in many different ways. I want to start by the first intervention that allowed agriculture to continue during the COVID period, where a majority of the youth are employed, enable us to sustain ourselves as a country. And even though the COVID-19 affected other sectors of the economy, the agriculture continued. But also, during COVID-19, most youth who were into trade and businesses, especially businesses that were allowed to continue operating, were able to continue with their livelihood. But that period also taught youth very important lessons, and new businesses have emerged, where online businesses now, the statistics indicate that the young people now occupy the digital space where they are selling online, where they are doing a lot of things through IT technology. So while the COVID-19 disrupted a lot of other intervention, it also introduced new dynamics into the businesses that are run by the young people. Your Excellency, the teenage pregnancy, I want to appreciate the initiative that Her Excellency, the Vice President, initiated, and together with the First Lady, the Prime Minister, and the Minister of Gender, Labor and Social Development, for a campaign to ensure that girls who dropped out during COVID-19 due to pregnancy are supported. And with this campaign, Your Excellency, the First Lady and the Minister of Education brought to Cabinet a paper, and that paper made very important decisions that has secured the future of this girl child. One was that Cabinet, in adopting the First Lady's paper, agreed that all the girls that were pregnant were to be allowed to sit their exams, and they did sit their exams. So that was a very important intervention. Number two, that policy directive also permitted those who want to return back to school after giving birth to be permitted to go back to school. And many girls got pregnant, they produced, and a number of them, by our statistics, have been able to go back to school. Your Excellency, in the same paper, there was the aspect of skilling for the girl child, and those who have dropped out because of many other reasons are not able to go back. And at the moment, the program we will launch today with the support of the UN family will play one of those key roles of skilling the youth, and majority of the people who will be able to partake this program are especially those who were impacted by COVID-19. We want to recommit as Minister of Gender that the skilling program and apprenticeship program, which is not only in the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development, but also the Ministry of Education through BITVET, the Presidential Skilling Centers, other skilling centers that are run by non-governmental organizations, will continue to coordinate to support the youth so that the skills they obtain can support them to get jobs. Your Excellency, one of the biggest problems we have is that majority of the youth who go through the formal education and graduate with the degrees in humanities find it difficult to get jobs. And so we are now looking at how to change the mindset of the young people, that on top of having a degree in State House, you are joking with them that degree in peace and security, in human resource, SWASA, and you are telling them that those ones you might not be able to help very much with jobs. But we are now encouraging youth that even if you have a degree, accept to have also skills, something that can support you in creating jobs, because the private sector is now the major driving employment sector. And so we will continue with the skilling in areas that can support the youth to create employment rather than to get employment, because not all of them are able to do sciences. But if they get skills, for example, in tailoring, in carpentry, in all the rest of the other skills, that provides, because if you look at here, people are building, people would want bricks, blocks, people want doors and windows, those welding skills and the skills that can support you, so that you are able to employ people with your skills and the skills that they have obtained. Your Excellency, we are also focusing on supporting the youth in work placement. We had a program with UNDP where those who have completed their education, their degree, are placed in an institution, a company, or a government MDS, so that you acquire experience, because when companies and organizations advertise for jobs, they always ask for experience. And most of them would not have experience. With this job placement, we have realized when they have a placement, they gain experience, and some of these companies retain them. If they don't retain them, at least they will get a job in other area. The Chairman Youth Council has talked about already the program, but Your Excellency, we are now focusing under the NDP3 and the new program for NDP4 in ensuring that we look at the program that will address youth who are unemployed, youth who are not in school, and if you look at youth who are not in school, and youth who are not in employment, and youth who are not in training, they will constitute the majority of the youth. Most of them, when you walk in trading centers, they are either playing cards, or they are drinking, or they are doing all sorts of things. In urban areas, you'll find them majorly those who will be causing insecurity. Some of you, when you are on the street of Kampala, you cannot even lower your windows down, because most likely your phones and your laptops might be stolen. So with that, we are already being tasked by Our Excellency, the Vice President, under the Presidential Economic Forum, to ensure that we come with a cabinet paper to address those, which we will come and bring it soon. Your Excellency, I want to applaud you for the support and accepting when we presented as Ministry of Gender during PDM that we carve 30% of the quota for PDM money to be given to the youth. And I think now the youth and the women are the people who have the most percentage of PDM, because women have 30% and youth 30%. This translates of the 1 trillion, it translates to 300 billion going to youth, and the money is coming at parish level. I think we need to thank HE, the President. and the cabinet ministers who supported this. So we now appeal to the youth who are here, the youth leaders. Your role is to monitor. Yesterday you adopted your budget. Please monitor to ensure that when you go to the parish circle, ask how many youth have benefited. Encourage the youth to go and apply. Encourage the youth to start enterprises with the PDM so that they are able to transform their life. Your Excellency, time is not on our side. I want to conclude by recommitting that the team from the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development will continue to drive your agenda of ensuring that youth empowerment is placed at the center of government intervention, that we will continue to engage the youth, continue to coordinate all efforts from NGOs, from the UN agencies, from government, to focus on the critical areas that can empower the youth, the skilling, the cheap capital, where we have confirmed through the Youth Venture Capital Fund, through the YLP, that actually now the youth, when you give them cheap capital, they are able to start their enterprises, they are able to sustain it, and they are able to progress. Few cases where youth are not probably returning or recovering should not make us generalize that all the youth does not pay back the money. Your Excellency, in State House, you were told that, and many of the youth were example of what they did with YLP money. So I want to request that please let us support the youth with cheap capital so that they are able to transform their life, because capital is very essential to move someone from poverty. When you cannot get capital to start an enterprise, there is no way you can move from where you are to the next level to provide for your family. With that, Your Excellency, I want to now take us through a few activities that you need to do before I invite you to speak. I don't know where the table is, the table for signing the host agreement. Security, if you could there is something else we are doing. Can we have the table, please?
Go through. Go Pele. Where? Legeza.
Where is it? Where is it? While the table is being set, may I introduce Mzee, the Presidential Advisor for Kigezi Region, Kanagizi. I hope I have tried. Mzee, where are you? Can you wave to H, the President? Oh, he's here. So I'm requesting Dr. Abdul Adi Abbas, can you please move to the table? You are supposed to sign the host country agreement between Afro-Arab Youth Council and Government of Uganda. Your Excellency, the Minister of Foreign Affairs should have been here to sign on behalf of Government of Uganda. Unfortunately, we lost our ambassador to Iran, to the Islamic Republic of Iran, who died on 4th August, and being a Muslim, burial is today. And so our minister J.J. Odongo and the team from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs are at the burial. They will be able to sign later. Can I request Honorable Dr. Chris to please stand in near there to represent government, and Honorable Sarah. Honorable Sarah, please can you just stand near the government of Uganda side. Let me allow him 1 minute to give a brief on what the Afro-Arab is, just 2 minutes.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Your Excellency, the President, I will not go through the protocol. My name is Agaba Abbas. I'm standing, first of all, to thank you, Your Excellency, for leading us through the process to where we have reached now. Afro-Arab Youth Council is an organization that is bringing together young people from the African and Arab world. It was born in 2004 in Khartoum, Your Excellency, and you delegated that time Madam Alice Kaboyo, then PS Youth, to lead us to Khartoum. In 2008, we had a meeting here that attracted about 5,000 youth from the African and Arab world in Munyonyo that you presided over. And during that meeting, Your Excellency, the youth requested you, one, to be the patron of the Afro-Arab Youth Council, to which you gladly accepted. And also you offered land for the construction of the international headquarters, which they requested to be housed in Uganda. Your Excellency, in 2019, when we met you after the Arab Spring, you made a quotation to us that in Africa it's abominable that when your brother leaves you children and he is not there and you cannot take care of them. I thank you for taking care of the Secretariat, and when we settled down, we have been able to process the host country agreement. We now have the land, and we are ready for the third phase of the hosting of the headquarters. Your Excellency, you are the one leading in the fundraising. The headquarters, the international headquarters of the Afro-Arab Youth Council will house 5 projects. One is the University of Science and Technology, 2 is an international stadium, 3 is an office block, 4 is a hotel of international standing and a youth recreation center, and 5, a historic Afro-Arab cultural heritage center that will contain heritage of
happening now. Tutaataganya mu mpeereza yaffe okukutuusaako ebyakagwawo. Happening now.
It's a meeting with you. I think the details shall bring them the meeting. Number one, the Honorable Dr. Alawej Abdul Hadi, who is already on the table, who is going to sign as the President of the Afro-Arab Youth Council, has been recently elevated to be Minister of Foreign Affairs of Libya. I want to introduce Honorable Amina Hilmi, to stand from Morocco, who is the Deputy Secretary General of the Afro-Arab Youth Council. Honorable Ebenezer Oyetakin from Nigeria, coordination of the Honorable Muzwake Alfred from South Africa. He coordinates, is the coordinator for Southern Africa for Afro-Arab Youth Council. Miss Rispa Achoka from Kenya, the coordinator for the Eastern Africa. We have Miss Krista, so coordinator for Africa. With that, we have members of the here. Ibrahim Sali, Your Excellency, Dr. Ibrahim Sali has been moving the journey with us, with you for the time we've been meeting you. Recently has also been elevated as consular for the Moroccan embassy here. I think this is a brief. The objectives are many. We saw that you did better on the objectives. The details will be carried in the meeting. Thank you again, Your Excellency, for hosting us. For the people of Uganda to know that this organization organization, we are now bringing it to Uganda to host it here. It will give us jobs, it will give us opportunities, some of which have already come in. Your Excellency, the government of Morocco already offers some scholarships for young people of Uganda to go and study in Morocco. Details will give you in the meeting. Thank you very much. May God bless you.
Thank you. Is the signing going on? As you are signing, I also want the people for the launch of the UN joint program, if you can be moving nearer with the If you are done, then you can have a photo moment with HE. Please. The President. Thank you. Can we have the UN joint program? And may I invite the 3 UN rep, UNFPA, UNDP, UN Women, and Sarah, Honorable Sarah, you still remain there, the chairperson. Yes, I think you should join this team. PS of Gender. This is a program that is going to be supporting adolescents and youth in skilling, education, livelihood, productivity. What I was talking about, issues to do with the skilling for all those areas of tailoring, skilling in all the crafts, welding, adolescent returning back to school and all that. I want to thank the UN family for that intervention post-COVID-19. Thank you, thank you. Now may we have the roadmap, HE launching, again the roadmap for celebration of 30 years of existence of Youth Council. Imagine you've existed. And for that one, I think we still have Honorable Sarah, Honorable, I hope the chair is there. the Executive Secretary of National Youth Council, thank you. I'm left with one more issue before I invite you, Your Excellency. The Bachiga have told me that when you come to their land, and they had sent you earlier to go and hunt. Hunting is to get something to return back. The time you've been hunting is going well, and you've been returning from the bush with a good outcome. When you come back, they say thank you. And they can also give you a good message, whether the regalia can still take you back to continue the work. So, I have the youth of this sub-region, led by Kichoncho Brenda, who have some interesting cultural regalia. Can I have those cultural regalia?
As the youth are coming, Your Excellency, we have a group of our other DCs from Kigezi and from Ankole. If they are here, they can stand up for recognition. The other DCs who are here with us today. Thank you.
Okay, so Your Excellency, this team is bringing for you a spear. I wish they had someone to give me the narrative of what the spear means in this place, the shield, the back cloth, which they say in Ruchiga is called a kishato. I hope I have pronounced it well. The spear in African culture is to go and hunt. You can see. Are you seeing? Are you people seeing? Are you seeing? Youth, where are you? Thank you very much for that gift to His Excellency the President. Your Excellency, it is now. It is now the time that you come to address the team and the population that has been waiting to hear from you eagerly, and it is now my singular honor to invite you to please address the people here and live, the people watching.
Her Excellency the Vice President, the Right Honorable Moses Chigongo, the NRM Vice Chairman, the ministers, members of Parliament, the youth leaders, the members of the diplomatic corps, and from the UN family, the Afro-Arab youth leaders. Neymama yejez mwena muruhoro je ati njanga murujungu kongaba kanje ngoba kiga urujungu nishibakwata kubi bwanyuma ninja kuvunira binagambo omulyankorera ikiga abatakumenya rujungu reka maze ngambira aba Uganda yona nesi yona. The first thing for the youth and you should remember that the one who is talking to you now is a former youth. Therefore, when you spend time youth, I am a former youth, I know everything about youth. So I can really tell you, as you use your language, the roadmap. What is the safe roadmap for the youth? Because I was here in 1960 in Mbara High School. I was a youth. This is 63 years ago, and I was watching what was happening. And I've been watching since that time, and also participating. The first thing you must ensure is discipline. Discipline for yourself, to protect your life from the dangers of youth. Abanyankole benefumu negira ngo bufuzi bwitowa kwati icumu. Omwana asoko wali yafuza ali omwana muto atene bazaire konka aboko ebyetengo byo yakiri omwana nibike nabana yende byokulya naho kubyama n'ekyo kweshweka nabwe ekyo n'owako wali efuzi nabasa kugumaho konka ari kunyeta yashogoya nikibaye mu maiso kukwata icumu abako abana bakaba batakwata amacumu icumu kandi rikwatwa omuntu omutsigazi ninga omushaija. So hatwa kwari kushogoya yaba omutsigazi agira ebizibu by'obufuzi ebyakare ataho n'ebyokunyeta ebyokuba omutsigazi. Aho niho arikugwa niho baire efumu erikugira ngu obufuzi tubukwitira mu bwana konka bukwita wakuzire. Rero z'omu marwa oz'omu bamaraya basi niyo orikugwa okwo. Efumu y'abanyankole obufuzi bwita owakwata icumu mukimanya ekyo kwako bakiri umwana nabaine ebizibu konkana biba biri ebizibu ebitari kwita ebyokurya icyo kweshweka okubyama basi warikunyeta atagira ebizibu byakare ataho atebishe ebye. Therefore, the first thing for the youth, when you say youth, the first thing for you, especially people are not handling you as politicians, who should be handling you as parents. Because what I'm telling you is what I tell my grandchildren now, the ones who are with me in the house. That's what I tell them. First thing is discipline. You must reject the temptations of youth. Mureke kubareke barokubi. Okubarekera ekibaro kukibara kubi mukenda okushemererwa kwaho naho uko obuyayo abakigambire n'ikigambo cy'obuyayo kirimu obuko butaine maani enkwezi taine maani mbwenu okukushemererwa uko obuyayo tarimu kibaro kora okugumisiriza wayetwara oja kushanga washenye enku ezihamire eziine orukara. So the first thing is to resist the temptations of youth. Because those are really no value addition. They will add nothing to you. Secondly, studies. Concentrating on your studies so that you get knowledge, but you also get qualifications. Now, thirdly, ideology. Part of the problem is that the youth, some of the youth get wrong ideology. Ideology of sectarianism, of religion, of tribes, of working for foreign interests. If you take that line, you will fail. Because I have been watching all these years. Many of the people who came into the at independence were young people. All of them were young people. There were no old people. But because they did not address the issue of ideology, that's why we had so many problems in Uganda. Tanzania, where Mwalimu addressed the issue of ideology, has been stable all this time. Even when there's anything they didn't do today, tomorrow they will do it because it is stable. And Mwalimu started with a good ideology of uzalendo, of patriotism. That's why Tanzania has been peaceful all the time. So, the three words for the youth: discipline, knowledge and skills, and ideology. If you look at those three, I can assure you, you will go far. After that, you should ensure to lead a productive life. to be in productivity. Don't lead a life of parasitism, of depending on others. Be sure that you can and they are all where you can be either as a small commercial farmer or as a big one if you have the land. And we have told you what to do in either case. Manufacturer. That's the second sector, manufacturing. And I'm glad when I was touring the kiosks there, I saw some of you processing. There were those who were doing honey. I saw them there. Honey and other bee products. There were those who were making a shandy from juice from sugar cane. There were others who were processing meat, making a mkaro. There are even people from Mitiana who are making sanitary pads from Ebseisa. Ebseisa numemanya. Abakumanya Ebseisa bachigani ba. Ebseisa ne. Olio omukono Ebseisa nenki. Joza mzindaro bagambe. Mzindaro buli. You know, our languages here are much richer than English. English is a poor language. They don't have enough words. You can imagine they don't have a word for here. They say forehead. What's that now? Forehead, front head. Tell us what Ebsesa are.
Your Excellency, ndi Richard Mpolera, District Councillor, orajwechera abakuzire, District ya Kabale. Ebiseisa, nechifunjo, echore ya oruhu, ero intima yomunda, yoto echiseisa.
Very good.
Thank you, man.
Thank you so much. Echiseisa is the inside of a papyrus reed. When you remove the cover of the papyrus, which is very rough, it can cut you, it is very rough, then what is inside is Exceisa. Now, some young people there are taking those Exceisa and making sanitary pads out of them. There. And also paper. You remember Egypt was the first country in the world to make paper, and they were making it from papyrus. So even now, those people are making, again, paper from papyrus. So they are making sanitary pads, but also paper. So there you have the whole area. And I've been telling people, we started telling you some years ago that these courses you are selecting in university, because you want a degree, you should be careful. You should choose either something you like, but knowing very well that it may not get you a job, but you like it. You study it. If you study Latin, sanctum sanctor, oh, fine. And you get a degree in Latin. Where will you work? But if you like Latin and you qualify in it, but you are ready to come and do other things. Because education is education, even if you are qualified in a social science, because of the education exposure, you can do other things. You can do business, you can do agriculture. That agriculture you are talking about, you can do it in a better way. So, once you have that qualification, or you don't have, but the areas of productivity are here: commercial agriculture, manufacturing. Those have just handled a few, but there are so many. Maize milling, the milk products, we've got a lot of milk here, the bananas, the fibers, banana fibers, ebirere, nebigogo, nenkonya. All those are raw materials of whatever you want. We are now going to develop a project of emigano, bamboo, in the other areas, the other hills of Rwampara and Singo and so on. Because to make very good paper, we need, you can use bamboo. And we are now importing paper. You can imagine Uganda is importing paper. I think $200 million or something. But we shall make all those paper here, all that paper here. And many people can grow the bamboo and we process it. So therefore, number one, commercial agriculture. Number two, processing. Then there is services. Some of you are already active in services, hotels, tourism. We have been studying the issue of tourism. This area is very good for tourism. And some other parts of Uganda are good. We have been working on the tarmac, on the roads for tourism. But we are now refining our thinking. Because some of the tourists are very rich people, they don't have time to waste to come and land in Entebbe and drive 400 kilometers to come here. So we are thinking of developing international airports near some of the tourist sites, like Chidepo, Kasese, Fort Elizabeth, somewhere near Bwindi, whether we do it on the Chi side or what. Kisoro is there, but Kisoro, those mountains, I don't know how good they are for the aircrafts, big aircrafts. So we are going to work on that also, so that we capture the tourists who want to come and drive and see the whole country, and the ones who want to come with their private planes, land, see, and go away. So you, as the youth, you should look at these options. Then ICT, Dr. Warimus is working on that. There are jobs known as BPOs, business process outsourcing, where you can be here as an accountant in Kabale and you help somebody in Canada check his accounts books, and you send the work on the internet and you are paid here. But also other electronic innovations. I was very happy to see a young person there from Bara University. There was a group who have made an electronic monitor for the body, to monitor blood clots and so on. We are going to support all those. We are going to support you. We shall support you with the government funds. Then there is the knowledge economy. Because this processing and so on, we are using old technology, old science. But your people are very well educated. Like yesterday, I was having a meeting with our scientists in NARO, National Research Organization, who have discovered a vaccine against the ticks. We are going to roll it out. They're already checking it, we're going to roll it out. Now, that knowledge economy, our scientific cadres, those ones I don't have to talk too much about them because they know what to do. And they're already doing it. They are making the electronic vehicles, electric, not electronic, electric vehicles. They are making, working on electric batteries, on the pathogenic economy, like the vaccines and so on. Those ones, the debt is on the side of the government to give them enough money and promptly, not wasting their time. So therefore, we should have a population of wealth creators. This is very crucial for you to understand, because you can have a population of leisure seekers. Abarukunda okwetanyagura. In the world, it's known, like for instance, the biggest economy in the world now is the United States, followed by China, followed by Japan. Japan is a small country. It's not such a big country. But they are very hard-working people. They have got a culture of hard-working. The Japanese are known, they are hard workers. That's how their country came from defeat in the Second World War. It has now been the second richest economy in the world until China overtook them because of size. China has got size. But the Chinese are also very hard workers. The Germans. So, you, the youth of Uganda, what are you going to be? Nyonjo mukozi. Nyowe omnyeto gwa nyumwawazi. The former youth. I am a hard worker. Wherever you put me, I will work. I will deliver. Okuli sente, okuhinga, okurwana, whatever you want, I am available. So therefore, the youth movement, because this is the youth council, women council, Elia akakiuka kanja k'abagurusi n'abakaikuru akanango minisita waitu ali awo. Minister of the elderly, Jidudu. These councils are not really for implementation as such, because the implementation is being done by the government structures. You have the parish, that's an implementation unit, a sub-county, a district, a ministry. These are the implementation units. These councils, why we set them up, were mainly ideological and mobilization units to spread ideas. Imumria waburuzi benjiri abokati mukwasa kuza kutarana na district abokati district niyo kutomo nkora egomboro niyo kutomo nkora omuruka guriyaho ati no kuza kuteka no kwihura tokuja kubizamu kokuza kubizamu no rubato musafuriya z'abandi but ogwawe no kuburira enjiri ukwetegeza enjiri ya NRM ukajiburira. This is the work of the councils. Sensitization. So, what are you sensitizing the youth about? I see you sensitizing dancing in mpaka chini. Okay, is that all you are sensitizing them about? Have you ever seen Japanese in night clubs? I don't know. Do they go to night clubs, Japanese? I don't know. So, what is, in fact, I'm sorry I've not been interacting with the youth so closely, but now I'll take more time. What is the content of the message? What is the content of the message of the youth movement in Uganda? What is the content? Abatsugazi numbarisa ki ekigambo ekyokulisa. So the economy is doing well. As I said in my statement, the five sectors are doing well. The private sector is doing a good job, but the problem has been corruption in the civil servants and the politicians also, which you should fight. Because the youth movement, because the youth council should see those corrupt people and expose them. That will be part of your work, because you are in the society. You can see what is happening. Now, regarding this area, as you can see, this area is very productive, but we have not yet harmonized it. It can be more productive. I introduced a pilot project in Ruchiga, near Muhanga, where somebody was growing apples and was irrigating from the swamp. Apples. What I was trying to tell our people here is that use the water in the valley to irrigate the hills. Those hills should be green all the year round because there is water down here. But we have not fully harmonized on that. Therefore, the area here is underutilized because you are only using the rain. You wait for the rain. But if you understand my vision, you don't have to wait for the rain, you can irrigate. The valleys can be granular for water, then you irrigate the hills through pumping, through solar pumps like the one I had put at near Mohanga. When I come back for the country, for the zonal tour, we shall discuss more about that. These areas can produce all the year round through rain and irrigation. We are now using only half of the year. When it rains, that's when we produce. But why not irrigate? Nahura numuhimbisa kamuntu. Komanye ilebizwe na kamuntu. Kumra hore entaro kuna kamuntu kana mtaje ngumugurisi abata. Kamuntu natunde mbire umuntu wahinga mbire azhanuka zibemineke anyuka ayamushande kantal garkiraho eshande agitomurwina ergamama rwagwa nangota abamutu bagarkiraho nibatekana rwagwa nayo beham kali akarko bayitira kimwe kali akamwisha mbona atika muntu wena tune mbire zanje mbona ka muntu nansisira eshande ansisira rwagwa abanyakuri ko kugeta bageta rwagwa ansisira rwagwa ansisira nakaya akarukira kubaita muno mbona ka muntu mugambere ngurga hambirizo mugusa abo kuba factory indi kuba leta mu Rwanda atumwe no gumtsigaza natwara obutare abuyumwitaka abutwara abaheru babano banyuka babano bahamurwagwa esente zona ezirkweyongeraho emirimo babano bagitwara hato gumtsigazi warukutwara obutare bamuhereza dora anana mshanje burutani ati taneje wajikora mwe byoma noyongera kacho ubutare nka 1.4 tons oyihamudora nkarukaga ningarushanje mbona natsisa mugambira rekeraho ka muntu natufiriza sente atufiriza emirimo ntungwenda factory bahata abarukuja kukomba ka factory abashire hino bayi tugambire abahisize arona bandi abakutwara wolfram bakayitwara handi wolfram egiyo kwe munanga abona bano batsisira what am I spreading? Yes. Abantu abari kutuma unkorana bayi
Your Excellency, abantu abiwakolenga nabo kandi abali hihi okutaho factory ikorero ly'obutale n'aba modern steel hata ituri kugambira bali ha stage yo kutunga license eyo kumininga yo baraheze batandike
so ka muntu lekera okutwara embire zeitu Now, what I was explaining, you see, our language is more efficient. English, they say iron ore. They don't have a word for iron ore. But what they call iron ore, we call it obutare. Obutare is what the English call iron ore. That's why you hear some, even in Rwanda, there is a place called Butare. That means there is iron ore there. So we have got very high grade iron ore here. It is the best in the world. The second best is in Peru, because this one is 70% pure. The one of Peru is about 60%, 50%. So for a long time, we have been looking for an investor to build an integrated steel industry from obutare iron ore to steel. We have now succeeded, and I'm telling them that those who have been trying to export unprocessed iron ore should stop, because they are making us lose money and lose jobs. So I want to end. I heard about the loan scheme. What the youth leader was saying. The loan scheme, we support it, but the money was not renewed this time because of the problems we had, the temporary problems of Corona, the war in Ukraine, but that scheme would be replenished. But what we did, I think we said, no new ones, but the old ones must continue being supported. But it was a temporary measure. About the 4 billion, I was embarrassed to hear that somebody took away the 4 billion from the youth councils. It will be brought back. Some of these people are shameless. How do you find somebody with very little and then you take away the very little? It's not common sense. So finally, I thank the UN and the family of the UN for their support for some of our programs. I'm coming back in this area to discuss in more detail our wealth creation. So this time we came for the youth. Mwareba abasirikare nibakumba mwashemerwa mwebare kwija bingi ranga bampera umugisha.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, the President. Thank you for giving us time. And can we stand and do the anthems?